Hello, boys, girls, and squirrels. My name is Daniel, and I'm a composer who produces, mixes, and masters my own music. So if you're a producer or a songwriter or a composer and you're producing your music or other people's music, this is the channel for you that's going to help you take your game to the next level. So today I'm looking at Spitfire Audio's new sample library called Estatica. Now this is another one of their sample libraries priced at $29. They've had some real home runs in this price point, but today we're going to look at Estatica and see, is this another home run or is this a pass? So I created a little composition using the sounds from Estatica. So hopefully this will help you get an idea of how they could work in a song setting. Is this going to be sounds that are going to be useful to you in your productions? So let me switch over to my other screen. So this is the plugin. And if you're used to the Spitfire Audio plugins, pretty standard. If you go up to reverb here in the top middle, they give you 7 different choices of reverb, which is great. And then if you push the little button here, these are the different settings that you get with the slider knob. You get reverb, attack, release, chorus, flanger, and phaser. And then I need to point out the dynamics knob, especially in this plugin, I'm finding you get quite a different range of sounds as you sweep up and down on this dynamic knob, and I'll demonstrate that in a minute. So let me show you this composition, and then I'll show you some of the individual elements used so you can hear these sounds. All right, here we go. So there you have it. Hopefully that gives you an idea of some of these sounds and how they may be useful to you. As I go through some of these sounds, I'll just show you some different things that you can do. So the first sound that I got was this short vocal one. This is what I kind of started this piece with, this part right here. And so let me show you, I'm going to play that again, but I'm going to show you the different sounds that you can get as you sweep through this dynamic fader. So I have it all the way at 100%, but let me sweep it down. So quite a range of sounds there. The next thing that I really did in this piece was the vocals. Now the vocals comes from this right here. This is in the vocal section. Oh, by the way, let me show you the 4 sections that you have. So inside this plugin you have the 4 different elements. You have the cello, quite a bit of choices for the cello. Then you have this tape section. Then you have vocal section, which is so far my favorite section. And then you have the warps here. And so the choir that I use, let me go ahead and play that choir again. And this will give you an idea of what the vocals sound like. Let me play the choir just soloed by themselves. So was very happy with what I could get out of the vocal sound. Now, I will say this. I did use auto-tune to get those to sound like that. They weren't recorded perfectly in tune, which is probably fine for the most part, but I preferred the sound with auto-tune, so I just thought I should mention that. And so that consisted of 4 different tracks. I wanted to record them separately so I could have some more choices with panning and effects and such. The next sound that I used throughout this piece for the bass is this sound, and it comes from the warp section called Orchestral Feedback. You can see I got the dynamic fader all the way down on that. Let me play that sound for you. Let me sweep up the dynamics so you hear what it does as you change dynamics. So kind of cool, as you sweep up, you get more of that distortion saturation. On this piece, I preferred it without the distortion, but I could definitely see how I would use some of that sound effect with the distortion in some other productions. So moving on, the next sound I use is called long strokes, and this is in the cello section called long strokes, long release. And let me play that for you. Let me see. Let me back up here. Here we go. So I thought that was a cool sound, but let me show you this. This is something that may definitely be of interest to you. If you take the fader all the way down with this particular sound, you get the raw cello sound. Let me play that for you. So that was important to me because I wanted to make sure in this library that I could get some of those raw cello sounds, some of the raw vocal sounds without having to have the effects. So I think that's great that they gave you some of the raw sounds. And then on some of the other cello patches, same story. You can turn this dynamics fader all the way down and you get that raw cello sound, which is fantastic. And I use that more in this song. So moving right along, the next sound I used, this was an octave actually of, let me play that. Yeah. So this was that same short vocal patch that I used in the beginning, but it's just the octave up. So moving on to the next patch. This one is called Soft Bowings. This is from the cello section called Soft Bowing. So again, you can see I have the dynamic fader all the way down, and I'll play that. Oh, I think that's toward the end of the session here. Or the end of the, here. There we go. Turn the dynamic fader up. So that's one of my favorite sounds so far in this library, the soft bowings. And again, I love that you can turn it all the way down and not get all those effects, and you have this great cello sound. All right, moving on. This sound is called, oh wait, that's not it. This sound is called, this was from the cello section, called Short Fuzzy Strokes. Let me play that. So I had to commit that track because I did some time aligning with it, so I can't show you it in the session or in the actual plugin, but it's in the cello section called Short Fuzzy Strokes. And again, I believe I turned the dynamic fader all the way down, and that's what gave me that raw cello strike So let me play that again. I really like that sound. Okay, I do have a confession to make. I had one cheat in the session. I used one instrument not from Estatica. I used the Labs, Spitfire Labs piano. So that's from the Spitfire Labs, which is a free instrument called the soft piano. So just thought I would mention that. The last three tracks I have are in the cello section. Short Fuzzy Strokes, let me play that for you. Oh, how about a solo of that? Let's see, it happens later. Oh yeah, so this is at the end. These are these strokes that you hear at the end. So let me see here. So I had these all the way up, actually. So let me see what those sound like all the way down. So let me see. Let's turn those down, and I'll play those again. There you go. So yes, again, you can turn the dynamic fader all the way down and you get more of that plain cello sound, which I really appreciate that they did that. And then the last sound I used was just a layer that I layered in with those other sounds. Just layered those in. And that's from the cello section called Metallic Strings. And I did note on that particular sound, I had to crank the volume up to 400%. And then you can see I have the fader also all the way up. So it was recorded really quiet, at least at that dynamic that I had it at, which was about 45%. So there you have it. Hopefully that gives you an idea of what you can do with this library. Is it a win or a bust? I say a win. A few things that I love about it is one of the things, well, let me say this. One of the things I was concerned about is that you'd have these cellos with all these weird effects and vocals with all these weird effects, but that you couldn't get a raw cello or vocal sound. And you can. You can get the raw sound by turning the dynamic fader down. You can get the raw vocal sound by turning the dynamic fader down. And there's a lot of stuff I haven't even looked at yet. So I would say at this price point, it's a huge win. It's another home run by Spitfire Audio. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out and gives you an idea of what you could do with this library. So if you liked this video, if this video was helpful to you, please give this video a like, subscribe to this channel, and also click that notification bell so that you can be notified when I release my next video. So that's it for me, signing off.